Hey guys, so I wanted to film an outro, I guess, for my Minsgame Declutter for the month of April. I did a really good job with it. I'm very happy with my progress. I want to show you while I'm talking, I'll show you some of the pictures that I took and put up on Instagram for the month. I love this challenge. I think it's absolutely a wonderful challenge for anyone who is looking to declutter. I think it's a great challenge. I think you can do it any way you want to. You don't have to do it for a day of the month. You don't have to post your pictures on Instagram. You don't have to play by anybody's rules, I guess is the point. But, spread it out over 2 months and say, I want to figure out how many days are in the month. I want to get rid of a certain amount of items. Figure out your own way to kind of do the Minsgame challenge. There were several areas of the house I didn't even get to this time. I kind of wanted to do it again for the month of May. I don't think that I'm going to do that just because we are like really going hard. We're remodeling a room in our house, and I've got things like changing and going on at work. They're not bad things, but they're just very time consuming. So I've been working really, really hard at work. I'm trying to keep my work-life balance. I am, trying to keep up with YouTube and everything. So doing the Minsgame can be a little bit time consuming. Anytime you're decluttering, it can be a little bit time consuming. It can be a little bit mess making. So, that's that. But as far as all of the ways that I have decluttered in my life, in my opinion, the Minsgame is probably the least time consuming and mess making together, just because you're not limited to specific area. It's not like, let's tear apart the whole kitchen and pull everything out of the kitchen, and then you have this huge mess. It took you all day, and then you have all this stuff and you don't know what to do with it and you're overwhelmed. It's like, no, it's pull out one item. Okay, the next day pull out 2 items. The most you're ever going to have to pull out is 30 some items. It's like 30 or 31 items, and you can do 30 pins if if you're really having a bad day. You can do 30 pins if you want to do pins. You can kind of make it do whatever you want it to do, but you're still getting rid of stuff. I did get rid of a lot of digital clutter this year. I didn't even count it towards my Instagram stuff, but one of the things while I was decluttering, I was like, I should make a point to get rid of a lot of digital clutter. So I did do that as well. I got rid of, I just got rid of a ton of stuff. I had a ton of clothes pop up that I had kind of held over from last time that I ended up, either over the winter realizing I didn't really like them anymore, or actually I wore out a lot of things. That was one of my goals. I've been kind of trying to think about my clothing kind of like my makeup a little bit. Like, I want to get to the point where I'm actually wearing out my clothes, same as I want to use up my makeup. I want to wear out my clothes. I want to eat the food that I buy. I'm really trying to think of my life more like that. Not have tons and tons of stuff in back stock. Not have just a bunch of randomness everywhere. Because what I'm learning about backstock and having all this extra is that A, you tend to forget about it, it goes bad, or B, once you get to it, you don't love it as much as you did when you bought it and it was new. So, saving things for rainy days, I would rather just save my money for a rainy day, pay off my debt. I don't have, on a personal note, I don't have any serious debt, but I have a car payment. And do you know what I mean? So I would rather just pay my car payment. Yeah, so that's kind of that. I want to live debt-free. I don't need to be a minimalist. I'm not a minimalist type person. To decorate my house, I like personal mementos in my space. I like antiques. I don't know. I like things, and I don't feel like I need to be a minimalist, but I do want to pick up some of the minimalist characteristics, some of their ideas, some of the things to me that I'm like, yeah, that would make my life very much more stress-free. Yeah, that is something else I wanted to, it just hit me. Like I said, work has been really, really crazy, and one reason is because my assistant took another job, and she always said she was a pack rat, and as I was working through things, it was like, oh my gosh, this girl really, really was a pack rat. Like, she would just have like folders of like useless pieces of paper, and I was getting so overwhelmed and like so upset, not at her in a bad way, you know, she can do what she wants, but it was like so frustrating, and my heart was like beating fast, and I was getting like so upset by and they're pieces of paper. And I just realized how much clutter affects me. I think back to like some of the issues I had growing up, and some of the issues I had, you know, all through life. I think back to some of those things, that times when I had a bad attitude, or times when I was really like grumpy or upset or anxious. And, you know, I think back and I'm like, you know what? I wish I would have known how much clutter affected me, because I don't think that necessarily clutter made me have a bad attitude, but I think that it would have helped me had I known, you know, why don't we get this stuff out of the way? Why don't we clear the air? And then you can clearly think about the problems, clearly think about what's going on, what you're doing in front of you, instead of being like so overwhelmed and distracted all the time. So I think that was something that I've really come to realize through this whole process, and I'm very thankful for it. So anyways, I really encourage you guys to do this if you're into decluttering, if you know you're up for the challenge. I really encourage you to take a good look at your stuff. I really think this is a great way to declutter. I have tried many different ways, and this is just one of my favorites. Yeah, I can't really say anything other than that, is that I've tried and I've not failed, I'm always making progress, but I've tried many different methods, and this is just my favorite by far for so many reasons. But anyway, so that was all I have for my little outro. I hope you enjoyed the little picture show of all my random junk, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye!